Sira, Hey, and Mano, of course, also, but I don't hear so much from Mano these days, so it's hard to know what's going on. But Sira, this thing about the score and the text, I keep working. I have been working. I work a little bit every day these days, not so much, but a little bit. And I'm trying to somehow. I started writing a text. I would like to work on it a little bit more because it's not so easy to get it to work, I think. What I'm trying to do is to kind of describe spaces from my memory, and actually, again, back to the movies. No, I'm trying to describe science fictional spaces. And I don't know, I kind of would like to try to make some sort of text which is moving through very different kinds of descriptions of space, and that these descriptions of space are somehow abstract but at the same time narrative, so that when you hear it you don't it's kind of, you get an image, but the image is not necessarily carrying a lot of meaning. So if I say there is a vast surface, okay, I don't try now, I'm not even looking at my notes, then it goes all wrong. Anyway, so I'm thinking about these descriptions of space, like how can we describe, for example, there is this scene in THX where they are in a prison, and the prison is made by a space that is entirely white, that has no delimitations. So it's really, the reason why it's a prison is because there's no way out. There is simply, you can't go anywhere. And I find this very interesting as a kind of understanding of how a delineated space, or the understanding of captivation, how this can be done by the opposite, so actually by having no differentiation around. I don't know. But this is, I mean, it's interesting. So I'm interesting about these kind of contradictory spaces, or how spaces can be described in a way that is not necessarily the usual understanding, because this, I think, is what is science fiction in a certain way. So things that kind of correspond to our real world, but translates it into another kind of image, so another kind of understanding. So all of a sudden the objects are levitating by themselves, and if you want to drink, you just imagine the water and it starts to come to you, or I don't know what. But yeah, I don't know exactly, but I'm working on this. And then I keep working also on the physical level, because I think that the physical level is what is most clear for the moment. And what I did today was that I tried to do the same principle, but really jumping on two legs. So not jumping from one to the other, what I think we do a lot, but really jumping and transforming and going for 7 to 10 minutes. It's kind of heavy, it's super tiring. But I think it's interesting because it produces some sort of intensity, and of course also a rhythmicality that is all the time transforming. So I think this could be interesting also to work on, and I don't know, it has something to do with this stamping or jumping, or it has something to do with joy also. I don't know what. But so I'm thinking about also what these bodies are, and how they, for example, come to enjoyment, or and what this jumping. So this jumping, we don't jump like this, or obviously in real life neither. But can we produce these kind of semi-fictionalized situations where all of a sudden we're all jumping ecstatically, and that this would be some sort of way, a certain behavior. So how our behavior also becomes a communal or a community, like an expression of a community that functions in a way that is not normal. I don't know if I'm clear at all. So anyway, I think it can be interesting to try this, to really do the principle, but really with getting off the ground. It's heavy, but it's fun. And then the other thing is to see if there is more, like, I don't know. Also, I'm still looking for even science fiction novels, because I'm in France and I don't find, and even though I'm now reading in French for the moment, it's still not going so well. So I should try to find still in English, but that's why I somehow yeah, I started inventing also, because I think it's also interesting to try to write something that's specific to us. And then the third thing was that I have also been continuing to do this thing of listening to the chapter that you read out loud and dancing in relation to this. And I'm now physically starting to find something that starts to be consistent, that I can kind of, it not repeat, but the principle I can repeat. And yeah, so it would be nice to have new text, or to somehow, yeah, read more. I don't know. Okay, I'm sorry for having been away for so long. I hope that this week maybe we can do a little bit more. I don't know how busy you guys are. But yeah, let's try to see where we get. And then I would also like to know how you're doing. So, how are you doing? I don't mean only with work, but also in real life, because we never see each other. So this is curious. And yeah, till soon. Ciao.